Black and brown teachers lacking in North Carolina schools.
When I became an administrator, that I noticed it more because at that point, I was also in a position to try to do something about it.
WRAL investigates the teacher diversity gap in the classroom.
So, how many black teachers has Erica had?
One. One?
Yep.
I want you to take a moment and think about something. What did your teachers in grade school look like? What about your children's teachers today?
Now, chances are in North Carolina, the majority of your teachers were white women. WRAL investigates, examine the racial makeup of all 115 school districts in the state. WRAL's Lena Tillett shows us why new research points to the need for change.
Tough love, because I was tough on you, yes. I was. And he was tough on me because you see some of these gray hairs, Trey, part of those belong to you.
Soft-spoken and shy, high school sophomore Trey Stevens lights up seeing his former Holly Grove Middle School PE teacher, Carl Tyson. No one was more surprised to learn the impact Tyson had on Trey than Tyson.
You're my PE teacher, and I trusted you, so that's the reason I decided to do your club.
Trust has to be earned. It has to be earned. Kids know sincerity.
The chance of this scene happening in North Carolina, a young black male student having a black male teacher, is slim, incredibly slim. A WRAL investigation obtained the racial makeup of every school system in the state. In Wake County, where Tyson teaches, 3% of the nearly 11,000 teachers are black men. In public schools across the state, while more than half of the students are non-white, the majority of teachers, 80%, are white. Why does it matter? A new study out of Johns Hopkins, an American university focused on Tennessee and North Carolina. It finds, quote, black students who have had just one black teacher by third grade were 13% more likely to enroll in college. Those who had two were 32% more likely. Researchers point to what's called the role model effect.
Y'all listening? Y'all ready?
Winston-Salem State University education professor Don Hicks-Tafari says all students win when a teacher workforce reflects the community.
When teachers are a monolithic group, white children don't gain from that either, because they're not experiencing the world as it really is.
Because before then,
the Stevens see these odds in their own household.
My first teacher of color was in public school, and she taught the honor science class.
You remember your first teacher?
I do.
Why?
Probably because I've never had one before.
Were you looking for a teacher of color?
every single chance I've gotten my entire life.
Andrea, a nurse, and Calvin, a business developer, grew up in Greenville, North Carolina. They each had one black teacher in grade school. Fast forward 20 years, they were stunned to recognize not much has changed for their two children growing up in Wake County.
So, how many black teachers has Erica had?
One. One?
Yep.
Wake County's racial breakdown looks similar to the statewide average. While students of color make up 54% of Wake's student population, 80% of its teachers are white, 20% are non-white. In Cumberland County and Nash Rocky Mount schools, more than 65% of their teachers are white, while about 70% of their students are non-white.
I started my career in Nash County, and there was a diverse school and diverse population at the school, but I was the only Hispanic teacher in the building that I recall.
Kathy Moore is another first, the first Latina and woman to be Wake County superintendent. She recalls students of color who looked to her for someone to relate to.
There were students who did migrate to me, who felt an identity, who felt a camaraderie, and someone that knew a little bit perhaps about them and where they were coming from. When I became an administrator, that I noticed it more because at that point I was also in a position to try to do something about it.
When you did the
As it is now in North Carolina schools, the chances of a reunion like this are unlikely.
I appreciate you, man. Love you. Love you. All right, bro. All right, man.
Now you may be thinking now, where are the teachers of color? We talked with a student teacher who says other states are aggressively recruiting him, but not in North Carolina. So why is that? I look into that tomorrow night at 5:30. And also education leaders talk about possible solutions to this diversity gap.
Oh, Lena, that is very eye-opening. Right now on WRAL.com, you can see the diversity numbers in your school system. We have the breakdown from every school system in the state. It's called the Teacher Diversity Gap. You can also hear what else the Stevens and Kathy Moore have to say about their experiences.
A very important story.
A WRAL News investigation found an enormous gap in diversity between the state's public school students and teachers.
More than 80% of the state's teachers are white and female. Tonight, we look at what state colleges are doing to recruit teachers of color. As Lena Tillett explains in this story you will only see on WRAL, the colleges have a long way to go.
7 times 8.
Muhammad Clemens started college wanting to be a high school history teacher. That is, until he started an internship at his aunt's school.
I actually went into the elementary school, and the way they interacted with me, it's just like they were seeing a unicorn.
He quickly switched his major at Winston-Salem State University to elementary education. Now a senior, Clemens will find himself in the extreme minority upon graduation. A WRAL investigation looked at North Carolina's colleges of education and a statewide recruiting program called Teaching Fellows. We found the state is on track to produce mostly white, mostly female candidates. According to the latest data from the state's colleges of education, of the more than 6,600 undergraduate students enrolled, 126 were black men. That's less than 2%. For Hispanic men, only 26 enrolled, or less than 0.5%. And 10 of the state's 46 colleges enrolled more than 90% white students. Wake County's superintendent says current numbers are troubling.
We need to ensure that our university programs actually reflect a diverse pool of candidates in the teacher ed program.
I know as a white woman, there are just so many things that I can say to connect to my students, and I say as many things as I can, but at the end of the day, I don't know all of my students' experiences.
Ashley Matthews has excelled at Rtdnac. She was in the last class of the old Teaching Fellows program, which recruited a diverse pool of students by race and gender through tuition help. In turn, students committed to teach in the state for 4 years. The program fell short of its specific goals to recruit more teachers of color, but it did help.
If you were here last year,
the Public School Forum's Keith Poston, who worked with the program, points to competition.
These were great students, and they were getting other offers, including full scholarships at universities that didn't require a service, a payback thing. It wasn't for lack of trying, but it is a vexing problem that still faces education today.
In 2015, the Republican-led General Assembly stopped the program, citing budget issues. Last year, Teaching Fellows restarted, but with a new goal: hiring more STEM and special education teachers, and apparently foregoing its diversity goals. WRAL obtained the program's latest class numbers. Of the 74 students selected, 83% are white. And for the first time, no historically black colleges and universities are part of the program.
The fact that we just created a new program and completely shut out the HBCUs is appalling.
We presented the new numbers to State Representative Craig Horn, a longtime education leader.
Emphasis got to be on high quality first and foremost, but that doesn't mean turn a blind eye to diversity. Not at all.
We are delighted to have each of you join us.
In lieu of the state's help, education leaders say it's time for a new vision to recruit teachers of color. One solution, recruiting teachers from abroad, like Kadisha Stewart of Jamaica and Edwin Ramos of Colombia, who teach in Vance County.
We're here because this county has a desire to open the doors of the world to the students by affording them the opportunity to have international faculty.
Another solution, more targeted recruitment. For Vance County Superintendent, that means being direct.
And if you are a teacher of color out there and you want to work for us, we have a job for you.
A WSSU education student agrees, saying other states are aggressive.
Other states want. They are, come on, this is where you can stay, this is how much we will pay you.
when can you start? And then North Carolina's just kind of like, apply.
Now, Wake County Superintendent Kathy Moore cringed hearing this, telling me they are working very hard to recruit from HBCUs. District leaders told education reporter Kelly Hinchcliffe and I, another solution is recruiting younger. That means being at career days at school and even promising high school seniors jobs as soon as they graduate college. Back to you.
Boy, anything they can do to turn those numbers around. Lena, thank you. North Carolina's 46 colleges of education enrolled more than 51,000 students in their undergraduate programs between 2011 and 2017. To learn the breakdown by race and gender, search our database right now on WRAL.com.
Yeah, tons of information. It's just a lot of resources poured into that investigation, and online you can find a ton of information. They're really valuable information.
And the numbers are eye-opening.
Oh, yeah, very.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.